Hello all, this is Dr. Naresh, pediatrician practicing at Bengaluru. Today I'll be discussing about or I'll be narrating a small story to all of you. It's called Keep Your Life Jackets On Before the Floods Arrive. Keep your life jackets on before the floods arrive. So let's first listen to the story. As you can see here, the story goes on like this. There are two households here in the story. One is a household A, that's red in color, and the second is the household B, or basically house A and house B. Now, there are 6 residents in house A. As you can see here, the grandfather, grandmother, the dad, the mom, and the 2 children. House B also has 6 residents, both the grandparents, parents, and the 2 children. Now, the scenario is set such that, as you can see here, the floods have arrived in this particular area where the houses are present. So we'll first talk about the story of the house A. It was announced on the TV that around 4 to 5 days ago that the area will be flooded. So the family was entirely prepared. Once the floods started, they moved from the ground floor to the first floor. And what have they done here? As you can see, they have called for a rescue helicopter, or maybe a rescue helicopter has arrived. And it most probably had place only for 2 people. So they have sent both the grandparents up to be rescued. And the parents with the kids are in the first floor, protecting them from the floods. It's quite simple. So the grandparents will be taken away by the rescue helicopter, and most probably they'll be safe. Now the water level keeps rising up. What has to be noticed here is it's been drawn in a very crude way. There are 4 rescue, something like a life jacket here. It's also present with the grandparents. This is enough to stay afloat. Just for a representative purpose, these 4 life jackets are enough to make them 4 float in the water. So once the water level rises, 4 of them put on the life jackets and they manage to survive the flood. So once the flood recedes, all the 6 are happily back in the house. It's a happy story. All looks fine. Now coming to the story of household B. They also received the same announcement 5 days ago that the area will be flooded. So they have somehow managed to reach the first floor. All the 6 are in the first floor, safe in their house. The flood waters continue to rise. The rescue helicopter has arrived. But they have decided to stay in the house. Irrespective of the flood warnings, irrespective of the rescue helicopter arriving at the house, they don't want to budge. So they want to stay in the house. They don't want to move away anywhere. They feel the floods will subside. And the main difference is, at least the house A had the life jackets, but here nothing is present. They are not prepared at all. Eventually, the water rises up and they face a lot of difficulties in the floods. And after great difficulty, they are rescued by the rescue team. So now what is the main difference between these 2 houses is, why did they have the life jacket and why don't these people have the life jacket? The life jacket was distributed for free by the government around 10 days back, keeping in mind that the floods will arrive. So, the members of House A have kept the life jacket for their safety, and it has helped them in need. Now, coming to House B. The elders of this house didn't want the free life jacket given by the government. They complained it's most probably poor quality. There are no floods, or the floods will not arrive. We are safe in the house. We don't need your life jackets. So they refused to take the life jackets. So it's just a simple story. House A was prepared. House B wasn't prepared, and they had to suffer a lot in the floods. Now, coming to what this story represents, as I told, keep your life jackets on before the floods. See, here the floods are going to represent the COVID pandemic, or most probably the next COVID third wave. The helicopter represents the doctors, the nurses, and the hospital. The life jacket, the most important thing, represents the vaccine. So as you saw, House A, they knew the floods are coming, they knew the COVID pandemic is there. They immediately got the parents who are at high risk admitted in the hospital under the doctors and nurses. And they were careful enough to take the vaccine that was administered by the government much before the floods. So almost 75 to 80% of the Indian population belongs to this category. But unfortunately, there is still 20 to 25% of the population. In fact, in the place where I live, I personally know people who have not taken the vaccine, who actually feel COVID is a scam. I mean, it's been 1.5 years and we are actually seeing patients, but still there are some people who don't believe and they don't want the vaccine. So this was just a story to make all of you understand that it's not only taking care of yourself, but you also need to educate your neighbors or the servants who come to your house, all of them, to be careful, to take the vaccine, because definitely we are expecting a third wave. And see, keep in mind, so far whatever recoveries we talk about, whatever the government talks about the recoveries, most of them have happened in the hospital. And you need to accept the facts. All the recoveries are attributed to the doctors, the nursing staff, and the hospital. So nobody, no relative, no film star is going to come to you directly and treat you when you have COVID. It's going to be done only by doctors, nurses, and the paramedical staff. So trust them. They are the ones who are causing the recoveries or people to improve in the COVID situation. So make your mindset like this. COVID is going to stay here. I will take all the precautions in the COVID pandemic to protect my family and myself. If at all symptoms develop, I will consult the doctor immediately so that me and my family get an early treatment and an early cure. This should be the mindset. So hopefully this video helps you and helps your neighbors and the people you know. Please take the vaccine, and as soon as the government announces the vaccine for children, please get all the kids vaccinated. Thank you. Wishing you all good and happy health.